Hello, I'm Emma of Granola Gear, and I'm so excited to be chatting with you again today about what I have been working on lately. I have an exciting acquisition this week with a new cast on, and I've made some progress. But I have to say, this has been, this last couple weeks, kind of like a sleeve nightmare, a sleeve hell, if you will. There's just been lots of sleeve issues, and I'm kind of over it. And I've honestly just been stressed about the sleeves, and I want it to end. I want it to end now. So that's part of why I skipped last week. It was Thanksgiving, so I was busy, and I was like, you know what? I can't take it. I can't even look at the sleeves right now. I can't even think about it. I don't want to. But here we are. Here we are. I'm facing my demons. I'm facing the sleeves, sadly. And hopefully it'll be resolved by next time. I'm filming this on the same day I'm posting, which doesn't happen very often. So I probably won't do any edits. I'll probably just throw this up there and call it good. So I hope this is okay and I don't have anything I really need to add in. But thank you so much for joining me, and I'm excited to chat with you. This is today I'm wearing my Lumi pullover by Sari Nordland. It's knit in the Blue Sky Fibers Wool Folk, I think, in the lilac and the undyed. I like this sweater a lot. I maybe could have sized up. I think I knit the size small and it fits me fine. But it's not like big and loose at all. But I do still like it. It's my first wear of the season, so there's kind of some creases in the arms still because I didn't steam it out from how it's been folded, but that's okay. This week I have no finished objects. I'm kind of like close to the end of a bunch of things. It just hasn't, I haven't gotten over the edge yet because it's been a busy couple of weeks. So knitting has not been the focus. But I'll start with my November neck because I've made some progress, but it's not like, it's one of those things that I think until it's done, it doesn't really look like a whole lot. Um, this is where we're at right now. It's not on needles because I've been sharing my 3.5 millimeters with a bunch of things, including this. Um, this is by Petite Knit. It's in on 3mm needles. I'm knitting the size small because there's two sizes, and she said the large was just for like, I think like men with broad shoulders. The small is just for everybody else. It's knit in Noro Ito, which is an Aran weight yarn, and it's such a pretty colorway. I have this much left, so a decent amount. I'm on, this is actually the wrong side I'm showing you. This is the right side with those pretty increases. Um, I'm on, what is it? One, two. I'm on the third increase. I think there's maybe four. I'm a little worried about yarn chicken. This is brioche. It does eat a lot. Um, but I don't have a huge way to go, so maybe I'll be okay. I'm really hoping I can do this all in the same yarn. Um, I have buttons for this that arrived. Actually, I forgot to grab those. I'll grab those really quick. 1 second. I'm back. This is part one of an acquisition this week. My in laws were in Oslo and they picked me up some yarn and some buttons. And they picked me up two types of buttons because I needed them for a cardigan. But then I figured I'd use the other ones on the November neck. So I have these little coconut buttons and these ones. You can see them hopefully. This one has flowers on it, which is super pretty, or it's just dark on the other side. This one has little leaves. Hopefully you can see that. Um, and just dark on the other side. But they're very pretty. And I thought it would be a good, sorry if I bump the mic, I thought it would be a good match on this, whether it's the dark side or that. It should go well. And I have enough, I believe. So I'll probably use those for that. But I don't have a ton left on this. I just have to kind of get cracking again. It needs to go on a larger cord. That's kind of the issue right now. And I need to move around some cords to give this one a larger cord. So we'll get there, but I've been enjoying that. It's been a good like first brioche project because there isn't really anything crazy. It's just simple increases. So next I will talk about the Brady Loop saga and the Brady Loop sweater, which has been a saga. This is part of the sleeve saga. This one is by Other Loops, the DK weight pattern. I'm knitting size small. It's knit on 4mm needles in Jody Long Chow, which is, like I said, DK, and the color pale. So the thing with these sleeves was that when I knit the first one, I realized when I got to the end that I knit them incorrectly. I knit double the number of decreases along the bottom as you're supposed to. You're only supposed to do 5. I did 10. And I didn't mind that. I didn't think they needed to be as wide as the pattern was calling for. I did the second set of decreases right after, but then I didn't have enough length left of sleeve to do as long of a rib. So I only did 10 rows of rib. I tried another version of the sleeve on the second sleeve because I wanted to make sure that that was the right choice. I wasn't totally sold on how I did it the first time because it was an accident, but I ended up preferring that way. So I knit both sleeves that way. I kind of feel like I'm playing yarn chicken. I did block this after the sleeves to see how I was feeling about it. So there's kind of an obvious line in the body where it's blocked versus not blocked. And this is all the yarn that I have left, just this one skein. I'm a little nervous about the body. It's maybe okay, but this isn't going to get me super far. It's going to get me a handful more inches. So I'm going to have to do another, I'm going to have to put this on cords. Sorry, there's hair all over this. It's been sitting on the floor. I'm going to have to put this on try on cords and see where it lands on me, if it's something I can deal with a little cropped, or if I'm going to have to order one more skein. Because I did want it to be kind of like a full-sized crew neck sweatshirt. That was kind of the vibe. I might have to do a short rib on the body as well. I mean, in the end, I think it's interesting because I used less yarn on the sleeves because I increased more. Like I increased more overall as well in the sleeves. Like the sleeves, I guess, to pattern would have been really large. I mean, that's it all pulled out. That's pretty big to me, in my opinion. And I'm okay with how they look, but I would have used up all the yarn on the sleeves if I had done it to pattern. So, I mean, I'm glad I made that mistake, I guess. Otherwise, I would have been totally screwed at the end. But I like the pattern overall. I think it's going okay. We'll see how the finished project comes out, but I'm really hoping to get this done because I just need something off my needles, and the sleeves are driving me a little bonkers. So the next pattern that I've been working on is it's the drops pattern in Drops Charisma. It's drops, what's the pattern name? It's 5219A sweater. It's a colorwork all over sweater. I'm knitting it in Drops Charisma on 3.5 millimeter needles, the men's small medium for my brother. And it's a DK weight pattern. So I steeked the armholes. I finished the body and steeked the armholes. I have not steeked the front portion, as you can see, because this is a superwash. I had to machine sew pretty aggressively in a couple places for the steeks, but it looks like it's going to be fine. I think it's holding on nicely. What did I do a little differently? I think it maybe called for this to be assembled a little differently, but I just did it how I felt like doing it because the design for this was kind of silly. The neck portion for the color work was very confusing as I was knitting these, because this was like flat, just this section, because I had to decrease. So I ended up with all of these ends at the neck because I had to keep cutting the yarn to do the color work flat. Just how it panned out. So I've got a million ends to weave in that hopefully I'll be able to tuck into the collar and not have to like weave them in. Yeah, what else? I Kitchener stitched the top just to get that over and done with. I was thinking about knitting the sleeves in the round off of this. I actually picked all the stitches up and tried it first, but then I just didn't want to figure out doing the color work backwards and doing decreases rather than increases. I just felt like it was going to be a pain in the butt to figure out the right length and everything. I just didn't want to welcome potential mistakes in that way. So I started knitting the sleeve separately, and it's wrong, and I need to frog it. This is the second part of the sleeve saga. So this is not, it's on hold. It doesn't have needles on it right now. This is not increased enough. It was the instructions, the pattern said to increase every third and then every fourth stitch alternating. And I got to this part of the color work and I was like, shoot, this is not going to be big enough, but it's almost at length. So I'm going to need to increase it. So I did every third stitch for this whole section and it still wasn't big enough. And it was like enough stitches difference that I think it needs to be fixed. I just don't think it's big enough for how large the armholes are on this body. I also did rib on the edge, which looks pretty small. instead of a folded armhole, because I think my brother will like that better. So I think I'm going to need to frog down to the rib and just redo it at a faster rate. But what I also need to do is count all of these rows, figure out how many stitches need to be added, and figure out what the actual increase rate for the whole sweater needs to be, because I don't want to like wing it again. I want to do it the second time like totally correctly and not have to frog. I want it to be a nice increase. Yeah, because I just don't want to mess around with it anymore. So I need to do that math, and I haven't gotten around to it because that's a pain in the butt. So here we are. But it should be the right length when it's done. There's a couple more rows left on this. It was just very clearly not going to be big enough. So that is part of the saga. That's kind of been on hold for a little bit because I just didn't want to friggin' deal with it, is what it is. But I'm glad that I was able to steek the sleeve holes with no issue. That was good. It was my first steeking ever. I haven't blocked this at all yet, but it'll be fine, right? It'll be fine. And that is that project. And the last project that I have to show you, the last work in progress, is also part of my acquisitions, and that is the Esther jacket. So my in-laws went to Norway, like I said, and they stopped at a yarn store. And this is not a Norwegian yarn, it's a Danish yarn, but it's exciting all the same. They didn't have, I was hoping to get some Hillesvåg, but they didn't stock it at that store. So the shop lady, my mother-in-law, is not like, she knows about yarn a little bit and she's done some knitting in the past, but she doesn't know like all about current yarn brands. So the lady just was like, oh, she wants to knit the Esther jacket. Like, this is the yarn that Petite Knit initially used for the Esther jacket. So she got me that. So I have Isager, I'm not sure how to say it, Jensen and Highland wool. I don't have a full skein of Jensen right now. I just have this. So I have enough of this for a medium. This is an Aran weight pattern. I was planning to get the size small, but I think this may need to be frogged. This is a size small. This is what I have so far, and I like it, but I feel like it's a little narrow. This is definitely not as oversized of a pattern as Petite Knit usually knits, I believe, but it still feels kind of small for me. And I know I have enough for the medium, so I may just frog this and knit the medium, because I don't think the medium will be like too big on me. Yeah, because I don't know, that feels like as narrow as this sweater, and like I said, this sweater is like a little bit small for me. Not small, but it's not like as oversized as I would maybe like it to be. So I only got through the first shoulder, and this didn't take me that long. It was fun, so I don't mind frogging it at this point. I actually blocked it. This is actually all blocked. I just wasn't sure about the whole thing, and I want to be sure that I do this right and nice the first time. So I wanted to show this in the video. That's why I haven't frogged it yet, but I think I'm gonna start over at the larger size, which I don't think will take me that long. And if that's still narrow, then I know that that's just how the pattern's supposed to be, and it'll be fine, and the medium will fit me, and I'll have enough yarn. This is knit on, I believe, 5mm needles. What else? Yeah, this didn't grow a ton when I blocked it. That was my other thought, like maybe it's going to grow a whole lot because I'm holding all these yarns together. I don't know. I didn't know what my thought process was, but yeah. So I'm knitting this in, this is the E1. This is just like the white cream undyed. It had other colors, but I was looking at the other colors, and between the Highland wool and the Jensen, there were only a couple shades that like matched, and the other shades that matched that weren't the white were like a brown and more natural color. And I just liked the white better. I thought the white made the stitches look really nice. I usually go for a color, but honestly, one of my most worn sweaters is my champagne cardigan, which is in a white, which was not, it was not my intention for either of these sweaters to be like the exact color of the sample. It was just, I thrifted a bunch of white yarn and it fit that pattern perfectly. And I wear that sweater all the time because it matches everything. That is the thing about neutrals, is they do in fact match everything, which, as someone who's not usually a neutral girl, it's almost annoying. I just want everything to be like blue or pink or green, and then I knit everything in blue and pink and green, and the black and white sweaters are the ones I wear the most. So this will be a beautiful, amazing staple piece with those buttons as well that I'm really excited about. Yeah, and that's what I've been working on. I'm really hoping by next time I will have the Brady Loop sweater finished at least. I just need to get it out of the way. I need to get it off my needles. I'm a little tired of it. It's been fun, but I'm done. I'm hoping to make progress on the sleeves of the colorwork sweater because I also started that last year and I want to finish that. Next up, I'd like to knit a turtleneck with the Noro Silk Garden Sock Solo that I have. That's the thought that I have in my mind. It's a sport weight yarn. I can either use bigger needles to get it up to a DK, and there are some really pretty DK options, or I could get a mohair, but I don't know if I want a turtleneck with mohair. I can knit. I have two mohair sweaters with mohair in them, and I don't mind them, but I don't think it's something I really want up against my neck. But the Silk Garden Sock Solo is a really nice yarn on its own, and I don't think that'll bother me at all. So that's my next potential. And also, I'm planning on knitting a sweater for my other brother and my husband this winter, and I need to order yarn for those. My brother, I have a plan in mind for him. I think I'm going to order some Drops Alaska. I just haven't gotten to that yet. And for my husband, I'm just going to knit him a super plain raglan. I think he doesn't have a basic sweater that I've knit him before. He wants something that he can like be a little more rough on, and he doesn't feel like he's going to hurt the beautiful sweater. And I think I'm going to do that in like a charcoal dark gray. Also have to order that. Maybe Drops Alaska, maybe something else, maybe a DK, but hopefully a worsted Aran because I don't really want to knit a big men's sweater in a DK. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. I have been doing some reading, but I haven't finished any books recently. So we'll just leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're having a great holiday season and getting ready for Christmas. As you can see, I forgot to mention, I have my Christmas stocking behind me. My husband's is above that one. I can link this pattern in the description. It's such a beautiful pattern. There's a lot of options for this section, the like colorwork section. So both of ours are in different. This is just the paint box acrylic DK, and my name is Duplicate stitched on it, and I knit those like almost 2 years ago now. So they're beautiful. I love them. They were one of my first colorwork projects, but I figured it didn't really matter if it was perfect as far as fit because it's literally a stocking. But I love them, and they're such a beautiful Christmas decoration addition. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe. Let me know what you've been working on. If you have any suggestions for what I'm doing, I'm always open. And I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.